The summation of the October 1st, 2007 meeting of the Borough Town Council. The first issue briefly discussed was the Black Horse Inn again. I guess it's changing ownership, and so this application was something over the sewer, transferring the sewer permit, and so they got the liquor license and the sewer permit, and apparently there's they got to verify something or do whatever, so they're taking their time getting these things done. There was discussion of the parking ordinances. There was a couple of ordinances regarding parking, and they will have to make some changes because of conflicts between the two ordinances. One ordinance has language that basically contradicts language in the other ordinance. So then there was some discussion of the high school and parking, and apparently they're going to send out a letter to some after-school activity people, just letting them know to be considerate of the neighbors when visiting. There was some discussion of some county requirement regarding wastewater management. And they apparently the county just needs the town to verify the septic tank and sewer connection maps, and it doesn't seem like it should be much of a chore. There was some discussion of a tow-away zone related to some of the parking issues, so apparently they're going to expand a couple of streets and include them in the tow-away zone, but they have to write an ordinance for that. There was some mention of brush and tree containers, and that they're going to have to spend more to get a bid for these containers. And I don't know what they're spending on the containers. I don't know why they don't go back to the old system and just pile the stuff up somewhere and then mulch it. Apparently they're having some other contractor do that, and I don't know whether it's very efficient. You don't get those kind of details. So apparently they had their wastewater treatment plant open house. They said it went well. I don't know, there was some sort of remark regarding the turnout. It was, implying not great, but not bad. Apparently they received their jet vac truck. This $300,000 truck for, I don't know, cleaning out the storm sewers, and so now they have to train how to use it, I guess. And then there was mention that the DPW installed a water fountain at the basketball courts. And there was reference to the maple trees on Valley Way. That's the street I used to live on when I was a kid. So I remember those trees when they were planted, and no one figured they'd even survive. They were just kind of, small and twiggy looking things. So anyway, they're 35 years old now, and they're apparently got some disease, some bugs or something are getting to them, and they're not dead, but they're not in good health. And so the town just was pointing out that they're aware of the problem. So I think the thing they've done is that they've contacted Rutgers, and some environmentalists there, and so they're trying to figure out exactly what's going on and how to treat it. There was a reference to a letter by Dr. Wolf. This happens to be my doctor, which is funny. And apparently he's thinking about moving back into town. I think the township, actually. And so this letter also went to the borough, and so it was just something, I guess, they didn't really read the letter or anything, but apparently there was some criticism that the town has become anti-horse, that it's not horse friendly as it used to be. And apparently the doctor was referencing the quality of life kind of issue there, that it was nice to have this rural kind of easygoing town, and maybe he made some reference to the town getting a little too rich and high and mighty or whatever. There really wasn't much discussion of it. It was just kind of confusing, actually. And then, of course, the gratuitous little comment regarding some girls' basketball team or something did something miraculous last year or whatever, and so the township gave them some sort of, individually whatever pieces of paper saying how marvelous they are. And so the borough now feels obliged to do similarly. And I really hate that crap. I mean, it's, yeah, somebody's going to win. Who cares? You know, screw these pointless competitions. Why don't they, you know, compete to do something that deserves praise? You know, playing basketball isn't brain surgery, as they say. Let's see. So then there was reference to, I guess they're finally working out the final agreement between the funeral home and the library regarding a staircase that has to be put in for access to the shared portion of the parking lot, some other deal. KC's was mentioned again regarding the grease trap. The lawyer kind of brought it up, and the lawyer sort of was implying that, okay, it sort of looks like they're going to submit the application. It looks like they're sort of, you know, going in the right direction. And a council member had to chime in saying, well, they've had too much time already and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, so I don't, you know, who knows what's going to happen. I mean, maybe an application won't be submitted within some 7 days or whatever they gave them, or some other stupid thing, and then they'll decide to do something stupid. But whatever, you know, I guess there's a point where you have to say it's time to, you know, do what you got to do. But it just seemed like they were looking for a problem rather than just okay, let's let it slide for another meeting. So then there was some Barbara Stanton raised some issues about skateboarding. Well, first the lawyer, I guess, pointed out that they're working on some sort of ordinance to prevent people skateboarding on the basketball courts. And Barbara Stanton pointed out that they're also skateboarding on rails. I don't know how many rails there are around town, but anyway. So I guess they want to broaden the ordinance to cover, you know, other things that they can't skateboard on or cause damage to. And then again, the lawyer brought up the fact that they've got to redo the town agreement, or write an ordinance regarding the public access television station to make it compliant with the law. They keep talking about it and not doing it, but maybe next meeting. After 2 years of fighting with them, well, over a year fighting with them. And the last thing was I submitted a question, just a simple one. I just wanted to know if there was some reason stated for the borough administrator submitting his resignation. And so apparently what they did was ask the borough administrator if he has a stated reason, and his answer was no. So there's no stated reason. It seems kind of funny. I mean, you pay somebody $100,000, works for the town for 8 years, and nobody's entitled to an explanation. I mean, I'm sure the council knows why, and so we're just left to speculate. I would point out that the borough administrator, I mean, I really hate his guts, of course. In my opinion, he's violated my constitutional rights. And you know, there was a period too, you know, for the last couple of years he's been developing a website, you know, that basically sells the knowledge we paid him to learn. I mean, we paid him to go to classes, and he's learned on the job, so to speak, and so he's basically selling that service on the internet. I don't know whether maybe that business now requires more of his time, or, you know, who knows, maybe he's moving on to another town. You know, maybe the town council was unhappy with him and said something to him. You know, I guess we're never going to know those details. But I always thought that was kind of disgusting. You're getting paid $100,000, you got great benefits, and apparently you have enough time to create a second business on the side. I mean, it seems to me if you got $100,000, you're getting paid $100,000, and you're not doing brain surgery, that maybe you should be dedicating the hours to justify that kind of salary. Because it isn't brain surgery. I mean, running a town this size is nothing. I mean, it's filling out forms, you know, attending some meetings, bullshitting on the phone. You know, it really isn't brain surgery. especially when you got a town that's got 2 superintendents. I mean, a superintendent of public works is also getting well paid, and someone who's running the sewage plant, and you know, you got clerks, and you got a CEO and a CFO, and you know, it's way too much money. So anyway, the new clerk is going to get paid $120,000 just to make this thing more ludicrous. Like, we weren't paying this bum too much already. We're going to pay this new woman $20,000 more, maybe a little more than $20,000 more. I mean, I think the old administrator was actually getting $98,000 a year. So now we're paying $220,000 plus the benefits.